Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Starfighter. And today we have another Star Wars Unlimited deck profile. So this is the Ghost Crew deck. This is basically going to be the Ghost Crew deck post the Legends of the Force expansion pack. So we do feature Hera from the first set and the Lothal capital city. So it's no surprise that a bulk of this deck is going to go to the Ghost Crew. We have Hera Pilot, Kanan, Sabine Red, Ezra, original Ezra, Chopper, Zeb, older Sabine, and the new Ezra Bridger from Legends of the Force. So each of them have great, wonderful abilities on attack abilities. And basically, the whole point or goal of this deck is to create a defense that is unbreakable. And as you start attacking, you're basically recovering all the damage and repairing your base that your opponent can't hit anymore. So they basically have to go through the whole line of Ghost Crew before hitting your base. So it's a really good strategy. It's really cool, and I'll explain it more as we go in the video. But that's the basic game plan of the deck. So we want to focus on the new Ezra that's coming out because he's the new one. He's the one that we need to just take a look at real quick. On attack, you give an experience token to another creature or specter unit. That combos really well with our next set of units that we have, which is Lothwolf. So Lothwolf has Sentinel and it cannot attack. But it still has 3 attack and 3 defense. So obviously your opponent's going to have to attack into Lothwolf, and is going to basically going to still have to take that 3 damage. So the idea is basically to put Lothwolf and Ezra on the board and keep feeding over that experience token to keep buffing up the Lothwolf. Another card we play in here is Fleet Lieutenant because every card in here is Rebel with the exception of these 2 creatures. So Fleet Lieutenant has a bunch of value in this deck. And then we play Tauntaun to give shields to non-vehicle units. So you can either give them to another member of Ghost Crew, but the ideal plan is to give the shield token to Lothwolf, so that way it has Sentinel plus the shield to go through. Space units, we play both versions of the Ghost, but we really want to rely on the Jump to Light Speed version, as that one passes around the keywords a lot. The other Ghost is in here purely because it does give shield tokens to Spectre units, and it is shielded itself, so it's our defense. Proxy, and also if we play later on in the game, it does get Sentinel from the other Ghost, so the 2 Ghosts can work together and help out. We also have Sabine's Masterpiece. Sabine's Masterpiece is just a great card in this deck because you have access to all of the abilities that it has, because you do play all of those aspects in the deck. And then Phantom 2 is basically just a super upgrade. Your goal is to put the upgrade onto the main Ghost and then give grit to the entire team. So basically, the entire strategy of locking down the wall is in this deck is basically what you want to do is you want to get Hera, the Phantom, onto the Ghost and give your entire board Sentinel, so that way they can't hit your base. So that's basically the whole plan of Sentinel. They need to be able to get that on there, so that way they cannot hit your base and they have to go through your entire crew. But your entire crew is constantly helping each other out, restoring, healing, and helping each other out, so that way you don't die. These are the events and upgrades that we play. We play Spark of Rebellion to disrupt the opponent's hand. Carabas just to get a little bit more offense because we do start with a really defensive strategy in the beginning. And we also play Heirloom Lightsaber and Constructed Lightsaber for the same reason. They both offer restore to with Force units. So basically, the idea is if we can't see Hera soon enough, we have these Heirloom Lightsabers that will spread around, restore, spread around the healing. So that way, the Ezra and Kanan can get the healing to the base early on. Here's some other considerations you can have for the deck. If you want to switch out to any of the cards that require Force tokens, you can use the Virgin's Temple on Lothal. Let's just use that one. It proxies pretty well with what we have in the deck. We also have Tech. Techus is a great card because you could just turn your entire deck into smuggling. So if you really want to do that, you can go there. Jedi Holocron is definitely a card I most likely would start maining, depending on how gameplay goes. But I've always been looking at it. It hasn't come up too much, but being able to heal 3 damage from another unit is really good, especially since the plan is to sword and shield off of Ezra and Lothwolf. So that makes a really good combination. Battlefield Marine is great just because it's a basic, 2 cost. So if you need like to fill up the deck, if you're like not looking to play all the Ghost Crew, I'm looking to. But if you're not, then Battlefield Marines are really good just person to put in. Mon Mothma actually has a huge target spree here, but the problem is with Star Wars Unlimited is that Mon Mothma 1 for 5 is just not good, especially since Imperial has like cards that do 2 for 5 or 3 for 5, or we have other cards like Cobb Vamp that play for free and stuff like that. Mon Mothma is just kind of okay, and at a 1-3 stat line, she once she gets her ability off, it's just not worth it. So you could play her though if you really need to, if you just need that search power, that's really great. But I just haven't needed to have her, so I don't play her. But you could play her if you wanted to. Calm in the Storm is probably the best card you could add to this deck. Um, I always I always have a philosophy that if you can do something with cards that are units, basically what you want to be able to do is there's always some sort of card or event that has a unit that can do that same ability, and you get to keep a body on the board and keep doing it or attack and stuff like that. The problem with events is as soon as they use their ability, they go away and you get no more value out of them. So basically what you're trying to do here is with Calm in the Storm is you exhaust a friendly unit, so ideally exhausting the Lothwolf, and if you do, you give it a shield and 2 experience tokens. So obviously with this deck, you're basically doing that with all the combinations you have as you build your combo, as you build your fortress here. But if you want to go faster, if there's just tempo issues, then that card is really good. Same with Last Words, they both kind of do the same. Just Calm in the Storm is just much, much, much better. So the overview, just kind of like the strategy. Early game, you want Lothwolf, Ezra, Tauntaun. Start building your defense first. Mid game, you want to play Ghost Crew with upgrades, push damage, and use the abilities and lightsabers to heal and defend the base. The ideal thing is basically to use the ghost and lock your opponent out from hitting your base while you swing away at their base. So basically, you just create an impenetrable fortress that they cannot get through while you're attacking and healing. Your opponent has to go through so many individuals before they can get through. And the ghost is going to be so powerful, it's going to be really hard to take out. The pros of this deck is it's aggressive, but only in the late game. It's going to consistently keep growing because it's the Ghost Crew and they're very popular, and a lot of the Star Wars money right now revolves around them. So they're definitely going to keep growing that the Spectre keyword. It's iconic, especially for newer generation of Star Wars fans, and it's good for new players because I do think that this is a deck where they can explore and have the ability to learn all the aspects of the game as opposed to like utilizing crazy combos. Obviously, it gets crazy in the end, but I think in the beginning, because you're playing simple things, you're learning about defense and certain keywords that it's good for a good newer player. In terms of cons, it does have bad recovery. If you don't get things going, it just falls apart. It's defense before offense, so you're going to feel very, very slow with the deck, and you're going to feel like you're starting off pretty bad, but you just kind of ramp up if you can get all the right pieces out. And again, it's slow, so it will be going in a time in terms of like competitive play, so just be aware of that. So this is the overview of the deck. Here are all the cards and everything. Personally, I just love this so much. It's a great deck. There's a lot of wonderful things in here. You're triggering a bunch of things. It's iconic. It's fun, and I think it's one that you can kind of just again always keep revisiting, always keep going back to. I think there will always be support for these characters and for this style, and I also think it's just a great deck for just the game because it does have even though it does have a lockout ability to basically prevent your opponent from hitting your base. It does take a lot of work to get there, and you have to play the game. So it's you have to play the game correctly or the way it was intended, rather, to achieve that. So I really enjoy this. This is fun. This is actually what I signed up to play when I decided to play Star Wars Unlimited. So I really enjoy this deck. It's a lot of fun. It's great feedback from my friends and other opponents who I played with. So hopefully you guys have the same results. Please like this video, comment any changes you would make, and subscribe so you don't miss anything. This place crawls, and remember to always check your 6.